In today's session, we will be learning about PATA drives and what cables and connectors are used for PATA drive connections. If you are working with an old computer or you are connecting storage devices inside those machines, you may be using PATA. PATA stands for Parallel Advanced Technology Attachment. It is a standard for connecting hard drives into computer systems. As its name implies, PATA is based on parallel signaling technology, whereas SATA devices use single signaling technology. Originally, PATA had a completely different name. It was called Integrated Drive Electronics. It was created by Western Digital, and that was the standard that they created. PATA changed quite a bit throughout the years. Faster speeds were seen coming out of PATA. This started with the speed of 60 megabytes per second, and the standard went up to 133 megabytes per second, as well as adding other devices. Not just hard drives, but we can also connect other peripheral components to that ATA interface. If you are connecting a PATA storage device inside your computer, you will probably be using a 40-wire cable or an 80-wire cable. On both these cables, we have a connection to the motherboard on one side, and on the other side, there are two other connections. At first glance, these two cables appear similar, but there are some differences. The first difference is the amount of wire, which can be easily seen upon closer inspection. The 80-wire cable is on the left side of the image on your screen. Here you can note more number of wires. The second difference is that the 40 wires cable typically have 3 black connectors, while the 80 wire cables have 2 black and 1 blue connector. This blue end always connects to the motherboard. The third difference is that the 80 wire cable has one special hole blocked. This is called the pin 20 or the key pin. It corresponds to a missing pin in many newer devices. In this manner, the cable can be inserted only in one way, thus guaranteeing a proper connection. The older 40-wire cable lacks this pin, and therefore they have all 40 holes open. When it is connecting up, you can see that the connections are quite identical. If you look at the cables closely, you can see the 40-wire or 40-conductor cable has the exact same kind of connections as the 80-conductor cable. Almost always, there are jumpers on the back of the PATA hard drive, and there is probably a 4-pin connection just for power, so that the drive can be powered up and get it running. So you will commonly have your big ribbon cable connected to your drive in the back, and you will have another power cable plugging into the 4-pin connection. If you look closely on the hard drive, you will see some information printed on the hard drive itself. On the PATA drive being shown on your screen at the moment, you can see where the particular jumper settings are and what they mean. If we were to look closer, we can see that there are jumper settings that can be set. We have designated this to be the master on the PATA connection. If we use this particular jumper in this way, we are designating this drive to be a slave connection. So now we have discussed about the 40-wire and 80-wire cables. If we have a look at those cables again, certain interfaces are designated as masters and certain are designated as slaves. By using these cables and the jumper settings, we are able to tell our computer to simply look at the cable and determine whether the drive has been plugged in, and if the drive is set for the cable select. It will simply use the same as the master or slave depending on where it is situated on the cable. So PATA connections are not the ones that are commonly seen in today's times. But if you are working on an older computer, you will most certainly see these ribbon cables and these SATA connections. So this was all about SATA drives and its cables and connectors.